Welcome back to Veterans Claims Ambush. I have been talking lately about IG reports, and they are tough to take because of the breadth of what is known as malfeasance, bad actors. Go back and look at the prior videos at your leisure. This is what you're dealing with. This is a culture. It doesn't have to be there. I use the Veterans Hospital. It's wonderful. I can see everything they're doing or have done since 2014 with me. It is absolutely a wonderful system, and all you have to do is take the professionalism there, including disclosures of my medical records, and shift it over to veterans claims, or as I have earlier said, take the whole thing and shift it over to Social Security, where you end up going before veterans law judges. You have a right to see your file. All right? You can appeal it. You can end up in a United States District Court with federal rules of civil procedure, discovery, depositions, etc. Congress can fix this. I don't think the VA can fix itself, but Congress can fix this. Okay, I'm not your lawyer. This is a college level course. I'm not giving you legal advice. This is teaching. And I encourage you to get your own lawyers. You are not ready to go against these people by yourself. We have TBI, traumatic brain injury examinations. This is from 2018. We're going backwards in time because you must understand the evolutionary process. It's still there. I told you about production standards and bonuses before. What could be worse? There's always something worse. Traumatic brain injury. You know where this is. If you were over in the sandbox, by which I mean Iraq, if you were up in Afghanistan, you know what this is about. Now, these TBIs happen anyway. People fall on their heads. People are exposed to traumatic injuries anyway. Peacetime, wartime, doesn't matter. You know, a lot of you understand what this is. If you are around a mortar round that goes off, there is a force that flies out from that can knock you on your butt, but also compress different parts of your body if you don't get chewed up by it. And then there are also the IEDs going off, etc. This is not kid stuff. This is life-changing. Traumatic brain injury. That's the report number. This is the report. This is 2018. Okay. Afghanistan is still hot. We still have people in Iraq today. Short break. I'm back, and it is an effort to look at this analytically and calmly. Here we go. The Office of Inspector General, OIG, conducted this review. They're not claiming this is an audit. I told you these are not audits. That's what these are. These are reviews. In other material, I've shown you where they say this is an audit. It's not. It's a review. Who made them do this? At the request of the Subcommittee on Disability Assistance and Memorial Affairs, House Committee on Veteran Affairs, Congress, these are not partisan issues. Partisan issues go on all the time in Congress, but not this time. When it comes to veterans, many times Congress, which is busy on other stuff, I don't care about your politics, it's got a full plate every day. But when it comes to this, it's normally pretty bipartisan. And usually they're shocked. Because what they keep doing in Congress is they say, what do you need? Well, here's the money. Here's the ability to hire people. You need more machines. You need better stuff. Here's the money. Go get it. All right. So what Congress basically is saying is, you better explain this to us. So the Secretary sends out the IG, who is conducting a review at the demand of the subcommittee, Congress. So what's been happening is, when people came with TBI medical evaluations and filed claims, VA failed to implement procedures to ensure veterans received adequate initial TBI medical examinations. Subsequent Veterans Benefits, VBA, and Veterans Health Administration policies regarding initial TBI medical examinations were not consistent. Between September 2007 and July 2015, well, that's only 8 years, VBA updated its policy 5 times, while VHA changed its policy 4 times. Why do you think they did that? Let's put aside the advances in medical technology. Why do you think they did that? Okay, you know why. Congress. In July 2016, VBA sent letters to more than 24,000 veterans informing them of the opportunity to undergo a new TBI medical examination and TBI disability determination. In July 2016, 24,000 veterans are notified, maybe you could have a new evaluation. However, TBI medical examination worksheets changed over the years, and they did not always differentiate between initial and review. Ready for this? Or did not state the examiner credentials. Therefore, VBA and VHA could not identify all initial TBI medical examinations completed between 2007 and 2015. The OIG recommended that VBA coordinate with VHA to determine. Don't you love that? They're going to coordinate to determine whether any veterans who had received initial TBI medical examinations by an individual other than one of the 4 designated specialists, ready for this, were excluded from equitable relief. The OIG also recommended that VBA confirm whether there are other veterans entitled to consideration for equitable relief by the VA Secretary. You should be upset at this. Citizens generally should be upset at this. TBI, traumatic brain injury, is when your brain is all shook up. It's really serious. Its lasting effects can go on for years and get worse every year. People may recover, but you may be finished your military service when you're 25, having been exposed to these concussive explosions, IEDs, mortars, and had TBI and not even known it. It may not even be in your medical records. You may have been properly awarded a Purple Heart for the injuries, but you may not have had a TBI medical examination. It's a brain injury. It comes from your brain sloshing around inside your head, and that sloshing could be severe. It can interfere with the electronic activity of your brain, the neuron connections. There is medical literature to the effect that TBI can make you more susceptible to consequent strokes. I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm not giving you legal advice. What I'm telling you is, as you read this, some of the most severe injuries that came out of military action in the war against terror, traumatic brain injuries, which may never show a bruise on the skin. Look how this was handled for 8 years. They had to go back to 24,000 veterans to inform them that maybe the examination we gave you for disability benefits or service connection wasn't sufficient. You see, you had a brain injury, that was the subject, and we sent you for a C&P examination. We didn't send you to the neurology section of a hospital, such as a VA hospital. We didn't send your file to a neurology department of a major hospital, which they could do. No, we sent you off for a C&P examination with an internist who specializes in the condition of your liver. And aside from a class in medical school, has never had a patient where they have opined or acted regarding a brain injury. You see, let's say a person was going into court. I'm going to take a break for a second. I want to talk about this. Okay, I'm back. I want you to imagine you're in court. It's an automobile accident. Plaintiff, I was injured. I was hit in the automobile accident. And there isn't a lot of question about the fact that the person, the plaintiff, is essentially the victim of the accident. But the plaintiff has to prove the nature of the injuries. So the plaintiff says, I broke my leg. I was hit by this car. I broke my leg. I broke my hip. And I had a traumatic brain injury, which may leave me in 10 years with earlier dementia, the high mathematical probability of a stroke, etc. Okay, so you're at a pretrial conference and you're going over who you intend to put on the stand as the plaintiff's attorney to show that this person had a TBI and to talk about the consequences. And in this conference, you say, well, I've got this internist. He's a well-noted liver specialist, has published articles about liver. He even has published about gallbladder. He's up there, world famous. So the defense says, well, we'll object to this person testifying as an expert because this is about a brain injury. So you take this in front of the judge, and the judge is going to decide whether this expert can testify about brain injury. Well, after all, it's a medical doctor. And after all, this medical doctor is well published about the liver and the gallbladder, but has never published about brain injuries, and the only update has been, well, he read a book about brain injuries. Well, did he write it? No. He read it. When did he read it? About 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And you want him to come in here and testify as an expert? No, he's not going to testify as an expert about brain injuries. No, he's not an expert like that. Go get a neurologist or a neurosurgeon, and it's a whole different thing. But you're not going to bring in why not bring in a podiatrist? Why not a veterinarian? Do you see the problem? So when they had TBI, they were supposed to use 4 levels of specialists, and they didn't use them. This is not lightweight stuff. So they had to send out 24,000 letters to veterans to say, we may have screwed up. Why wasn't anybody fired? Why wasn't anybody fired? And the answer is, in the prior IG report I showed you, there are production goals. There are incentives to hit those production goals. The veterans themselves may not have known what these C and P exams are about, and may not have been, as I am, able to question the credentials of experts. I have had experts knocked out in litigation because they didn't have that expertise for that particular question. Okay. $24,000 TBI. They didn't even bother to state the examiner credentials in a bunch of them. Do you know why that was? If you are a neurologist or a neurosurgeon, you should be very proud of your credentials. It is an obscure, difficult practice. Did not state examiner credentials because they didn't have any. Or did they? If they did, would it not be clear? They had been told 4 designated specialists. There's the whole VA medical system with neurologists. They are allowed to send things out to hospitals and medical schools with neurology departments. 24,000, and these are mostly going to be combat vets. So, I wonder what kind of bonuses were paid for meeting production standards. 24,000. Next video. I'm not your lawyer. Please recommend this to people thinking about joining the service. Remember, you joined because of Valley Forge. It is an honor to serve the country. When you take that oath, you are different. You are the backbone of the country. You are the reason it exists, that it can exist. You are in, if you will, that line that progresses. Expect nothing, love your country, and protect your country. I'm not giving you legal advice, but I think by this point you are now much more educated, and there's a lot more to go, unfortunately. Where do you see this one? Next video.